Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co-host on the other side, Cantu. How was your weekend, dude?
Good, good. It was a good weekend. I just pretty much played some golf this week on Saturday and then played some baseball. Pretty active week. How about yours?
Good. Watching some baseball, hanging out with family. That's pretty much how the weekend was. But golf, how's the swing? How's the swing? Last time we were
A,
talking about golf, you said the driver wasn't working.
a
How about
lot
now?
better. A lot better drives this time around. So that's always good.
So it was going. The ball was just going straight. It wasn't giving that little curve at the end. It wasn't
I'm
telling.
still slicing. I'm still slicing a bit, but there is a mixture of non-slice drives and then some where it's sliced bad. So we're getting there.
Yeah. How about the iron and the putt?
I actually got lucky and made a 20-foot putt. So not better than that.
And doing that little fist pump like Tiger Woods, right?
Absolutely, absolutely after that. Yeah. I had to go buy a beer after that.
So what did you shoot then?
I have no idea.
You
I
don't
didn't
know how
keep
to
score.
calculate the score?
I do, but I mean, I'm not that great, so I know it was over. It was about 80, over 80. So it's just, I didn't calculate it.
Well, this guy right here is a dual threat athlete. He's playing golf on Saturday and then playing baseball on Sunday. I mean, the man could do it all. Apparently, he can even pitch. Did he
Oh
pitch this
yeah,
Sunday?
I did not, but I had to play second base because my arm felt good after pitching, last weekend, and then one throw from center field to the cutoff man, dead arm after that.
So you're getting a cut from center field. Where did you throw it then? Third
Yeah,
home.
so I was going to third, so I caught it and I dropped it on the exchange. So I had to pick it up right away, and I'm doing that motion, just pain in the arm.
The mechanics wasn't there for your throw
Yeah.
from second to third.
Well, from center field to third.
Oh, center field third.
Yeah.
Reminiscing about the high school days. I remember us competing at shortstop and trying to see who's going to get that middle infield spot. And at the end of the day, I mean, it was me, and you went to the outfield.
Yeah. Well, third base first.
Oh, third base and then the outfield. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Transition to an outfielder, but I think it worked out all good. I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you got Josh on the chat. What's going on, Josh? How's it going? Hopefully
Josh is
everybody
always
had a.
just
I know. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend as the Astros fly past the Orioles on episode 190. They sweep the Orioles. Angel, if you would have told me that the Astros swept the Orioles, I probably wouldn't have believed you because
yeah.
that team itself is just a hard team to sweep. The last time the Orioles were swept, you got to go back to May 2022.
Oh wow.
That's how dominant this team has been from being swept. And this is the Astros' third sweep of the season, too. So it was a pretty good job on their part.
I think that was before Ali Rushenson too.
Either it was before or just during that time that they brought him up, I want to say.
Okay. Nice.
But I mean, this team, the Orioles, I mean, second out of the AL East, one of the best offensive teams that you're probably going to see in Major League Baseball, especially in the American League. And the Astros did a pretty damn good job holding them. I mean, talk about Jake Bloss's outing, 3 2/3. He did have to come out with an injury. We'll have a little bit more news on him. But Ronel Blanco and Framber Valdez, which we'll talk here on the recap in a minute, they just did a fascinating job. The offense just continued doing what they were doing. The thing about this team right now that the Astros are rolling at home. They're winning a lot of games at home. They have the third best AL home record between the beginning of May till all the way coming into into the July month. I think they've done a really good job. If you take away last year, past is the past. We're not going to talk about it. But I mean, they've done a pretty damn good job at home this season, and especially going against a team like the Orioles. Like I was saying, you got to feel comfortable where you're at. 38-40 record, 6 games from being in first in the AL West, 4 games back from the last wild card spot as well. The Astros just continue doing what they're doing. Remember entering this series, I think there were 10 games or 9 games back of that first position of the AL West, and now they cut it to 6, and they look like they're rolling at the right time.
Absolutely. It was a great series, a much needed series because the Mariners lost the series to the Marlins. So they cut what 4 or 5 games off in the
Yeah, it was
past
about it was
few
about
days.
3 or 4, I want to say.
Yeah, so I mean they hold still possession second place, and then leading closer to the Mariners, and they will have some interesting matchups soon. I think they don't play till what next month or after the All-Star break, but as long as they narrow down that margin before meeting, it's a good chance that they could even be in first place soon.
Yeah, they played the Mariners. I want to say after the All Star break, they
Okay.
traveled to Seattle to take them on, and then the Astros play the Rangers before the All-Star break starts. So a lot of AL West division matchups coming into this month of July pretty soon. We'll have that recap of the Orioles series, like we said. Who's invited to the Carne Asada? Well, pitching preview versus the Colorado Rockies. News from the train station and around the horn. I feel like this episode could be a little quick, Angel, but you never know. We might make it into an hour. We might make this thing into 45 minutes.
We like to talk sometimes, yeah.
We do.
So,
And plus, the Aggies one
oh,
win away,
absolutely.
one win away, which we'll talk about at the end. We won't get into it right now. Talk about it at the end. But let's get with that recap of the Orioles series. I think the Astros did a really great job getting to the starting pitching of this Orioles staff. Albert Suarez has been a great pitcher for them. Corbin Burns, one of the most elite, dominant pitchers in the American League. Same goes for Grayson Rodriguez. I think the Astros just did a fantastic job getting after those guys and forcing the Orioles into their bullpen. The Orioles offensive struggle, I mean, the Astros offensive surge, 27 runs in this 3-game series, a total of 35 hits. A lot of extra base hits, I would say, was the key thing of this series. On Friday, they had 7 extra base hits. They had 5 doubles in 1 inning. I think you got to go to that 6th or 7th inning against Grayson Rodriguez, which knocked him out and then forced them to go to the bullpen. Saturday and Sunday did they both combined for 5 extra base hits as well, a total of 10 from Saturday and Sunday's game. So I think the Astros just did a great job. A lot of extra base hits. Yainer Diaz had a triple. A lot of doubles coming from Jeremy Pena, coming from Joey Loperfido, which he really hit the ball really damn well in that first game of the series. Home runs coming from the big man Altuve. A little bit of Chazzy Fizz action as well, hitting 2 home runs, a multi-homer game for Chas McCormick, hitting it to the right side and hitting it to the train tracks. But I mean, it was a great scene to see the starting offense getting to heat up, I would say, in the dog days of summer.
Yeah, the Astros really dominated this series, and yeah, dominated the Orioles, like both pitching wise, offensive wise. And this is, like you said earlier, an Orioles team that not only had one of the best offensive baseball, but two of their aces pitched this series too. They had Grayson Rodriguez and then Corbin Burns pitched both games, which they have been superior this season. Potentially both could be all stars as well. So, building off this series, the Astros just need to uh, kind of take advantage of what's to come. They face the Colorado Rockies for 2 game set, and then they need to take advantage of that one. They they cannot spade that series, especially the way the Mariners kind of been a little lackluster sometimes. This week you have to keep praising that hope, but much to be proud of for the Astros, and you can even say much momentum to build off.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great opportunity, like you said, against a team like the Colorado Rockies, which they're not the strongest assets of teams in the National League or just in general. I mean, they've been struggling in some games. We'll get that preview here in a minute. But I mean, I think another force of this series was because of the Astros starting pitching too. We had talked about
Yeah,
it that Corbin Burns and Ronel Blanco one is going to be a pitcher's duel, and luckily the Astros got after Mr. Corbin Burns, and the Orioles just couldn't figure out Ronel Blanco. But to talk about the last episode, we had said the Orioles scored 373 runs. That is the second best in the American League, just falling behind the Yankees. And Ronel Blanco shut them down. Framber Valdez, same thing. If we talk about game one, I mean, Jake Bloss did a pretty good job. I mean, there was a lot of defensive mishaps that could have gone to different position players instead of Jake Bloss, or just even small infield hits from the Orioles as well. But take away that game from the bullpen and focus on starting pitching. I mean, Ronel Blanco just did a great job. He held his ground against Corbin Burns, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 98 pitches, 66 were strikes. And then Framber Valdez, I don't know if you had noticed, Angel, the Dreads are back. The
yeah.
Dreads are back for La Grasa. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He did throw 104 pitches. 69 of them were strikes. He did a great job. Ronel did a great job. Even the last 2 pitchers, Luis Contreras and I don't have the kid's name right in front of me. Last name King, that just made their MLB
Is
debuts.
that Brian?
I want to
Brian
say it's
King?
Brian King. Sunday, coming in and making their MLB debuts and shutting it down with an 8-1 victory, getting that series finale and getting the sweep. But going back to those 2 guys, Blanco and Valdez, we already said Blanco more than likely, if he continues to pitch like this, which I'm pretty sure he'll have like 3 or 4 starts before the finalization of the All Star game roster. I think he has a great chance of making his first All Star appearance this year. And Framber Valdez, maybe the Dreads just kind of built that confidence up, man. I think he's pitched really good without it, but the confidence, I don't know. It could have been different with the Dreads on. We did talk about that sinker being a factor, getting the ground ball uh, in this game against the Orioles with a team with hitters like Ali Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Santander. I mean, I think both pitchers just did a phenomenal job when they needed to do so.
Absolutely. Like you said, Ronel Blanco is an All-Star. I'm going to say it right now. I think he deserves that spot. He's been pitching great. Yeah, pencil it down. Pencil it down. But yeah.
We're marking it
Uh,
down. 508 June 24, Monday. Angel said this.
and then for Framber Valdez, he rides or dies with that sinker. Like when he's on, phenomenal. And then when he's not locating it correctly, it's just he has to work a little bit harder than usual. But overall, I mean, really great series. Offense. I think this was besides that first game. They had like a few rookies in there trying to eat up some innings because it was like a lopsided margin at first. Like everything clicked for the Astros.
Mhm.
Offense was tearing it up. Pitching was great. Even the bullpen came in when it was needed, and like you said, Brent King, just to name one, right, was also pretty phenomenal. So we kind of talking about in the series prior is like the Astros, like when something's off, everything else is on. Or when something's on, pitching's good, offense can't score runs, or offense on fire, pitching can't hold it down. I think this is just one of the few starts where everything kind of clicked, and you know, it, it's always a great time to find your groove, always a great time to get hot, and I think the Astros could ride the wave. Like I said earlier, maybe close that margin down.
Yeah, so I mean, it was I guess you could say a complete series for the Astros.
Yeah.
They just did everything correctly, like you said. Offense was on the tear, bullpen doing the right job. If you take away, the Nick Hernandez, Rafael Montero, and I believe there's one more other pitcher that pitched in that game. I mean, it's a 14-3 lead. You're usually not going to use your high leverage pitchers to come out and finish the thing, getting it done. But
Yeah.
even stolen bases too. Joey Luperfido stealing some bases. Jeremy Pena as well, which Luperfido honestly looked really great in that first game on Friday, taking an extra base on an infield hit to make it a double. That's pretty phenomenal what that kid's doing. His defense continues to be a great asset to him. If you make that play, when Jake Bloss was pitching that first game, he made that play in left field. That was very crucial because that could have been an RBI and the Orioles could have had another run in that situation. But like you said, complete series defense as well. We got to give credit where it's due. Jake Myers making some hell of a plays, which I think right now, I think you could put him as a Gold Glove candidate in center field. I would
Jake
like to
Myers,
say that. Yes.
absolutely, yeah, top three for
So
sure.
so defense, like you said, besides the offense and the pitching, defense was another aspect. Base running was another asset. Just I would say probably the most complete series that the Astros have played this season against a great team like the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, it was what you said, great series, and that's why this Carne Asada is jam packed today. Everybody's bringing their favorite meats, and let's start with Joey Looper Feeder. Not only does he bring a good offense, good defense, but he also brings the energy to this team, like you said, diving catch just to save some runs, and then that hustle showing extra stolen base too. He registered his first career 3-hit game. This series went 4 for 10, two doubles, two RBIs, and a stolen base. Again, the much needed energy the Astros needed, and let's move on with Jose Altuve. Ever since he got upset, you know, that was the firecracker this team needed. 5 for 14, 4 runs, one home run, two doubles, three RBIs in series as well. I think he increased his lead of leadoff home runs especially on the first pitch. He likes to pick on those get me over pitches, and we can't do that to Jose Altuve. Alex Bregman had a good series too, 6 for 13, 4 runs, three doubles, up to his batting average of 257. Yanier Diaz, not only is he a power hitter, catcher, but he has some wheels on him. He has a 5-game history, 5 for 10, 5 runs, one triple, four RBIs, and then Jeremy Pena, 4 for 8, batting 500 there, 1 run, three doubles, and three RBIs. He only played the last 2 games, and it worked wonders for him. For that one, it was just a much needed day off, and that day off, really, I mean, it worked. Batting 500 in a series, him and Yanier Diaz, always really good. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, go ahead.
no, no, finish off, finish off.
I was gonna say overall, like you mentioned earlier, this offense was on a surge. 27 runs, 35 hits. I don't think the Astros have had a series like this since last year, where the offense just clicked, scoring tons of runs and getting tons of hits. And yes, I just named a few, but it was a contribution of everybody. Literally, just doing their job, moving a guy over, setting up the next guy for an RBI. It was just a mixture of everybody doing their part on the offensive side.
Yeah, Jordan Alvarez is now on that list. He had a home run. Jake Myers had another home run. Chas McCormick. It, like I said, I'm going to continue saying one of the most complete series that the Astros have played this season. Yonder Diaz, I feel like he is so underrated with his wheels. I feel like
Yeah,
that is so underrated of his game. Is his base, well, not base running, but just the way he runs the bases, his speed, his hustle, all that. Because that could have been a double on Cone Cowser missing that ball in right field. But Yonder said, you know what, I'm going to take an extra bag and get that triple. We even have an appearance from Knox Bregman in the post
yeah,
game. I want to say on Sunday.
yeah, absolutely.
Want to get some hits in the cages, man.
Oh, and then I forgot to uh, say that a few days ago, Yanni Diaz had a stolen base too against the White Sox, so he's showing up those wheels there.
That was against Martin Maldonado as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, that is his first career. Yep, first career stolen base in that one too.
Hmm.
So maybe more to come. That aggressive side that the Joe Espada wanted early on is kind of like showing up there.
Yeah, I think it's been a big help for the Astros too this year, getting that extra base, more stolen bases as well. Because think about it, I mean, the bags are pretty bigger than the average back then when we used to watch, our players and our generation played. These guys are stealing bases that are like, I don't know, the diameter of the base is just more bigger. It's the width's more larger and everything like that. And the Astros are taking advantage of it. You're seeing more stolen bases from Jerry Pena. You're seeing stolen bases from even Jose Altuve. Altuve is even getting in the mix of getting some stolen bases as well. The big man Alvarez, he already has 3 stolen bases this season. Um, but like we said, just a huge series for the Astros because honestly, if you looked at it on paper, you looked at the schedule in the month of June, who's going to be that tough task to get a win series against? And it was going to be the Baltimore Orioles, one of the best teams in the American League. You're probably going to see them in the postseason as well. That's why they're up there in the American League East and possibility in the wild card. So just keep your eyes on them. They're going to be having some issues with their pitching staff. So don't be surprised at the trade deadline as they will be going after some pitchers, probably just like the Astros.
And then Diaz is looming into 100 RBIs too. He has 98. Could be this Colorado series. He hits the 100 margin
Career wise.
career wise. Yes, career wise.
So
But and I can't leave the Carne Asada without shouting out the pitching too. It's just a complete game. Framber Valdez, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Ronel Blanco, great as always. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. And I'm even gonna shout out Jake Bloss because it was a lot of uncertainty going into his start. You have one of the best offense in baseball and a kid who hadn't pitched in AAA, only experienced at AA. It wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. Limiting the Orioles to 2 earned runs and only 6 hits. I feel that's a win overall. Yes, I feel like he does need to work on controlling the base runners. There's a lot of stolen bases against him
oh
just
yeah.
because he has that high leg kick. Doesn't have like a sidestep, like a sidestep. But
Mhm.
uh, I think that was the only con of it. But overall, pitched a great game. Unfortunately, he did have to come out the game due to shoulder inflammation. I mean, but at that point, I think that was the last batter, anyways. It's
Yeah,
just
his pitch
unfortunate.
count was high.
Yeah, his pitch count was guy was probably last batter. Unfortunately, he had to come out that way. But it was 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Look good. Look good. Like I think the first few batters, he was maybe the nerves could have came in. He had a walk, a hit, and then after that, he kind of just settled in after that. But it was a pretty good outing for the rook.
Yeah, and we even said it. I mean, I think he had 3 infield hits on him in the first 3 innings. I want to say, correct, if we're
Yeah,
counting that right.
yeah, I believe so.
Because I know Gunnar Henderson had one, Cedric Mullins had another one. If you remember in the beginning of the
Yep.
game too,
I
one of
think it
them
was Mullins twice.
Mullins twice.
Yeah,
Okay, because in the beginning of the game, Henderson hit a ball. I want to say up the middle, it hit his glove, and there wasn't a play. So yeah, I mean, shout out to the Rook because it's not an easy game to play, especially at the major league level and making your debut against
Yeah,
high offensive team like the Orioles.
yeah, but I mean, look good. I feel like the future's bright for him. He had a pretty good fastball, pretty good Aussie pitches there. I think the Astros were pretty accurate what they saw and made the right move. I know Eric Lar has been pitching pretty decent over there in AAA. So uh, do you think Eric Lar, now that Tyler Bloss, I'm sorry, Jake Bloss made his debut, do you think he works that option to leave the Astros? I think it's at the end of the month.
I don't think so because right now too that the Astros we don't know the significant injury of Jake Bloss's injury. We don't know if the inflammation is going to go down. It's just kind of like a time wait and see kind of moment.
Yeah,
But I
what's a
think Eric
player
Lar does
option?
stay. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
I think he settles just for now, and then maybe later after the trade deadline could be a different story.
you could see that. But here's with that pitching preview.
Of course, pitcher preview going against the Colorado Rockies, like we said, 27-51 is their record, 3-7 their last 10 games. They are last in the National League West. The Astros did see them in Mexico City, going against the Rocks over there. A lot of elevation, altitude. Home runs were flying everywhere for the Astros. I think the only home run the Rockies had hit was Ryan McMahon's home run in right. I want to say that was the only home run the Rocks had hit against the Astros. But there's another 2-game series, just like how they did in Mexico City, another 2-game series over here in Houston. And Tuesday's start time is at 7:10. Austin Gomber's on the mound for the Rockies, 1-4 record with a 4.36 ERA. He'll be going against Hunter Brown, which he has a 4.5 record with a 4.72 ERA. And let's get with Gomber real quick. His last start versus the Dodgers, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He did face the Astros over there in Mexico City. That stat line, 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Home runs were made by Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena. That was that second game of the series finale against the Rockies over there in Mexico City. And the only thing with Gomber I would say positive about him is his off speed. His off speed abilities are pretty good for off speed run value, which is the 95th percentile on Baseball Savant. His changeup has an opponent batting average of 211. His knuckle curve is one of the best. He is a lefty, so he kind of has that 12-6 motion like Clayton Kershaw, 185 opponent batting average. You're looking at a spin rate about 25.47 RPMs. And then the strikeout percentage on that's one of the best out of all his pitches, 20 strikeouts, most by any pitch in his arsenal. I will say about this about Gomber, his month of June has been horrific for him, 9.68 ERA. He has given up 19 earned runs, most he's given up in a month this year with a 355 opponent batting average and a 444 WOBA. So this is a great opportunity for lefties, including the righties as well. Just like what Tucker, Altuve, and Pena did over there in Mexico, I think it should be any difference over here at Minute Maid Park. Another thing about Gomber is he's not going to give up a lot of walks. Obviously, you saw the stat lines I have announced: 2 walks, 0 walks against the Astros the last time. So he's going to make you put the ball in play, but he does pitch a lot of mistakes, I would say.
Astros need to take advantage. It's just I know he's struggling in June. We'll continue that fire and hammer the ball.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. I mean, we talked about in that White Sox series against Jonathan Cantu, which was a rookie, and he flat out there dominated against the Astros. The Astros couldn't figure him out. But of course, both sides, Rockies are going to do their scouting reports against the Astros from the last outing. Same thing, or the Astros are going to look at Gomber's last outing and see what they did good and what they did bad, what they need to kind of work on for Tuesday's matchup. But Brown, on the other hand, last start against the White Sox, 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. The month of June, 3.0 record, 144 ERA, and a 209 opponent batting average for Hunter Brown, the Wright State alum. He has been on fire this past month. He looks like the confidence is just rise from him. He just looks more comfortable on the mound. His command just looks great as well. So I'm pretty sure this is a good opportunity for him to continue lowering that ERA and that quality start streak as well. He has 6 quality starts in consecutive starts. So it could be a great possibility that they can make it 7 against a weak offense like the Rockies.
Absolutely.
And then the series finale, like we said, 2-game series against the Rockies is going to be an early one Wednesday, 1:10 start time. Ryan Feltner going for the Rockies, 1.6 record with a 6.02 ERA. He'll be going against Spencer Arrighetti with a 3.6 record, 6.36 ERA. And Feltner, his last start versus the Dodgers, 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He's given up 10 earned runs in his last 2 starts. He has a 6-pitch arsenal, but he kind of doesn't pertain to the sweeper, he has a four seamer, a slider, a changeup, a sinker, a curveball. And like I said, a sweeper that he's only thrown 7 times throughout this season. So you're not going to see a lot of sweepers in this start, maybe possibly 1 to 1 batter. But you're going to see a lot of his four seamer red hot in the zone that gets hit hard a ton in his pitching map. The opponent slugging on that is a 433, which is not bad. It's pretty average, but I mean, when you're looking at red hot in the zone, the heat map's just right there. A lot of fastballs are right down the middle or inside part of the plate. A player that I come to mind that likes to hit inside part of the plate is Jose Altuve. He's one of the guys that are going to want to attack on early. He's going to be one of the guys to swing early, especially a pitch right in the middle heart of the zone. So look out for that. The breaking ball is one of the worst in Major League Baseball, I would say, for Feltner. Nothing against him. The kid just does not have his breaking ball. -8 breaking run value, which is the first percentile. That's not first percentile doesn't mean it's great. That is literally the worst in Baseball Savant. Remember, first 1, 2, 3 is like poor, 98, 99, 100. That's great on the heat maps. But slider, 341 opponent batting average. Changeup, 378 opponent batting average. I would say just wait on the changeup, wait on the slider, attack that breaking ball. I would say adjust to it. As the old saying would say in baseball, you're looking at the fastball, kind of adjust to the changeup and different breaking balls that they had.
Yeah, and that breaking ball, you said it was first percent. I think that's one of the first we've seen covering baseball, right? But
Mhm.
it also doesn't help playing in Colorado. I know many pitchers have, just how they struggled in Mexico City, getting that spin on that ball. It, it, Colorado's not doing them any favors there.
That is a pitcher's ballpark, I would say.
You think so?
Is it a pitcher's ballpark or it's a hitter's ballpark? Take that
I
back.
would say hitter's ballpark, yeah,
So
because that
yeah,
high altitude.
the
Yeah,
altitude. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought it was. I was like, okay, no, that don't sound right. Pitcher's ballpark, no. Especially the way the breaking ball pitches look for him.
that's crazy. And he has a -16 run value, which is also 1%. 1%. That's wild. If the Astros, I mean, you know what? We're saying all this. I wouldn't be surprised if throws a gem against the Astros. Usually how it
That's why
goes.
I say you can't just think of all these statistics that I'm giving you. I'm just giving you the baseball part of it, seeing what's good, what's bad. At the end of the day, they go out there, they dominate whatever they can do. It's not always going to go either way. Jonathan Cantu was a prime example against the White Sox. He went almost a complete game against the Astros, and his numbers weren't the best. So I'm just saying it for the preview. Doesn't mean that the Astros are going to attack him early. They need to. That's the projection of getting to him and getting him out early. But this is just to give you the stats and give you the statistics part of the game, because it has changed being analytics and
Yeah,
stats based.
yeah. So it's like your local weatherman. Just to give you the prediction.
Yeah, because when you talk about Houston, it's going to rain. It's going to be sunny the next day, and next thing you know, it's raining. So
Yeah,
yeah, you see, not everything happens. Mother Nature, baseball gods. I mean, it's all different. It's all different.
absolutely.
But Arrighetti, on the other hand, last start against the White Sox, 4 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. For Spencer, I would say for me, on his end, because he has had some good starts. Go back to the San Francisco start. That was a really good one for him. But his last 2 starts, obviously against the Detroit Tigers, he got taken out of the game because he got hit by a comebacker. And then the White Sox, it was the walks, 4 walks. That's not going to be a pretty good stat, especially only getting a 4 and 3rd innings pitch. I would say keep the walks to a very minimum, 2, 1. Maximum, I would say 3. But the cutter and the curveball need to be on point for him as well. That's been his bread and butter this whole season. Besides the four seamer, the breaking pitches for him have been really well in his last couple of starts. I'm gonna ask you, Angel, what are you expecting from him in this coming start? What adjustments are you looking for him to do?
Yeah, I'm expecting a bounce back start, and the reason is if we look closely at as his last 2 starts, there's a lot of uncertainty going on with Spencer Arrighetti and with Justin Verlander. You know, he was off to a hot start, bounce back, from all that struggles, and then out of nowhere, his start was pushed forward because Justin Verlander had the neck stiffness neck issue, right? Gets completely hit, right? Next outing, they were still uncertain with Justin Verlander. He's set to pitch that day. Ends up not pitching, goes on a 15 IL. Well, they got to move Spencer Arrighetti up one more time. It's just like for some guys, I feel like you just have to be in a rhythm, like get your mind right. It's like it's like if you have a day off and your job calls you, hey, we need you right now. Like obviously you're gonna be like, eh, obviously you're gonna be like not at your best is what I'm saying, right? No,
Mhm,
like I'm sure he's eager to pitch every single time. It's a dream job to pitch in Rose compared to like an ordinary 9 to 5 job, right?
mhm.
But like I just feel like some pitchers have a routine they have to go by, get their mind right, do what they got to do, and then pitching when you're not supposed unexpectedly, not supposed to. I think I kind of throw your groove off a little bit. Now there's no uncertainty for this start. He knows he's getting the ball this day. There's nothing that's going to stop it. So I think he could bounce back. I think just say command on that cut and curveball, like you said, need to be on point. I think that's all it is. I think it's just a more of a mindset there.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really great job this season. I mean, from the first couple starts, you remember he wasn't there, and we talked to him too. What's been the biggest change in this kind of this second half for him? I would say maybe the middle half. You would go to, and it's been confidence. I mean, the confidence has been a little bit better for him. He's been throwing really well. He threw against great teams like the Braves, the Guardians, even the Mariners. The Mariners was probably one of his best starts. The Giants' offense, I'd say, is a little underrated. They have good bats over there, like Michael Conforto, Yastrzemski, Soler. I mean, they got good players over there too, but in these last two couple of starts, it hasn't been the same. Like you said, it could have been a routine thing like him. I know some baseball players have superstitions. You
Yeah.
cannot tell me there's not baseball players in this world that doesn't have a superstition that they always do. Maybe he has a pregame routine that he usually goes through. Maybe he has a pregame meal that he he goes to too. That's the part of the game. That's the beauty of this game. But I think another big part of this past month, not just for him, but just for the starting rotation in general, has been the off days, even the bullpen too. A lot of off days in this month. You've had two off days from. It's going to be an off day on Monday, which is today, and it's going to be another off day on Thursday. I want to say before they go to New York. Same thing over there against the White Sox. They had an off day over there. So I think it's been beneficial for them getting those off days, getting that extra day of rest, and I think Arrighetti could have a bounce back start against a team like the Rockies because honestly, this series should be an easy 2 game sweep. It should
Yeah.
not be a split or a losable series. The Astros have to take care of business. They have a great opportunity to match 500 for the first time in quite a while. I would say in the beginning of April, and that's one of the goals that Dana Brown had talked about was getting back at 500 before the trade deadline. And it is a great, great, great opportunity for the Astros to do that against a weak offensive and pitching staff team like the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, like I'm not like I'm trying to give the credit where it's due. The Rockies are
Yeah.
a major league team. Uh, they have some superstars like Ezekiel Tovar, Alan Trejo, just to name a few. Charlie Blackman, but this is like how in high school when you have a struggling pitcher, they put him back in JV to get his confidence back, kind of pick on the guys who are not major league ready. Well, I think Hunter Brown and especially getting, I feel like need that start against teams that who against players who for most teams would probably be in their AAA. So I think just kind of like picking on them, you know, kind of having a good start against the Rockies could really go a long way to picking up that confidence, like you said.
Yeah. So this is the series I would say the Astros can do it because 40 and 40, that's pretty good. You cut down a little bit more games on the Mariners. But like you said, I mean, you can't sleep on this Rockies team. Ryan McMahon's another one I think you forgot too that I think he could be a trade piece for the trade deadline. But like they did sweep the Rangers earlier in the season, so don't be surprised if they could do it again if against the Astros. Tovar's been a little bit hot for them. Like you said, Trejo's another guy. Charlie Blackman's another one. Credit where it's due. They're a great team, but I think this is a good series for the Astros to finally match that 500 winning percentage and get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, in order for them to be above 500 and you know continue this hot start, like they're gonna need some of these players back. And starting with Kyle Tucker, I think he's been one to watch. Yes, I know he was in pain, but I honestly didn't think Kyle Tucker would be off this much. Like when I saw it hit off his shin, I was thinking, oh, maybe like a few days, uh, like a few days out, out the week. Maybe I was getting like 5 days max, and then he's back to the Astros lineup. Obviously, that hasn't been the case. Here's a little timeline of what's been going on with Kyle Tucker on Friday. Tucker's still ramping up in the weight room, but not ready to resume baseball activities. That's been kind of like the trend going on. Like, yes, he's like trying to do some movements, probably doing some upper body, but baseball activities like such as throwing, running, and hitting has not been doing that. On Saturday, Joe Espada Tucker is still walking with a slight limp and has yet to do baseball activities on the field. And on Sunday, Danner Brown said as soon as his soreness goes away, Tucker will start baseball activities. Ultimately, he's feeling a lot better. It's been kind of the same trend we've been getting the past few series, the past few weeks. It's like, yes, he's getting better, but not as fast as they anticipated. Not as So it's just it's kind of like a wait and see game.
Mhm.
When do you think? When do you think we'll see Kyle Tucker back? After the All Star break or just before?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one because the way it's looking right now, it might be after. It don't even look like he might even go to the All Star game,
Yeah.
but but he could barely make it before the All Star break. He is gonna have to go on rehab assignment, get some cuts, get some games in, some action in Triple A or in Double A. But man, it's kind of cutting it tight. I would say either in that Marlins series at home because they're gonna have a three series. They're gonna be on the road for three series, being in Toronto, being in Minnesota, and I'll have the other one right in front of me. But I know them two series. They're gonna be on the road, and then they'll come back for the Miami and then Texas before the All Star break. So I won't be surprised. Maybe the Miami series just to get him back on track before the All Star break, starts.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you then. Uh, I agree with you there. I think maybe that Miami Rangers series, I think he'll be back. But we also have uh, some updates on Victor Caratini. On Sunday, Dana Brown said that Victor Caratini could be out for 4 weeks. Things clean sometimes clear up in three. These things kind of clear up in 3 weeks. So 4 weeks, 3 weeks, it can be kind of like around there. Again, that's another guy who I didn't think was going to be on for a long time. And then Jake Bloss, Friday, Bloss was removed from the game, and later the Astros announced he was dealing with right shoulder discomfort. After Friday's game, Bloss said he felt a tweak in his shoulder. Saturday, the Astros moved Bloss to the 15-day IL with shoulder discomfort. Again, an unfortunate ending to a pretty good start for you know the, the young kid.
Mhm.
I mean, he was able to dice around that Orioles lineup and just last pitch, kind of point out his shoulder a little bit, and that was pretty much that. And then a guy that we haven't really heard from, kind of been like, it's been kind of a mystery with JP France of what's going on in the minor leagues. I think they've been kind of keeping that one kind of, to themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Danner Brown, the Astros pregame show on Sports Talk Center, he said that JP France is dealing with shoulder inflammation, has a slight setback with long tossing recently. At some point, we'll get him stretched out and back out on the mound. It's been longer than expected. Now, I think it's kind of like the same track. I know for Arrighetti, it was like more forearm inflammation. Are you seeing like a surgery, maybe like a like long stint in the IL for JP France?
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to tell with him because I don't know if he's going to be able to pitch this year.
I
It's
don't
kind
think
of
so.
almost looking like it's not. If that's the case, maybe shoulder surgery might be an option. And I would say if the Astros are going to do it, I think the right time is now
Yeah.
before it gets, for him to get ready for spring training of next season. So I think they're just kind of monitoring it until maybe possibly after the All Star break. I would say maybe at the end of July, that's when they'll make their decision saying, well, possibility that he's going to have shoulder surgery or whatever surgery he's going to have to deal with, and then probably be out for the season. So it's kind of you have to monitor it. I would say it's. I honestly don't see him pitching this season. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're not pitching in AAA, and especially in the minor leagues. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, like if they are going to have surgery, I mean, what's the wait up?
Mhm.
Like the goal is to have the player ready as soon as possible. If that's something they considered, maybe that's what they're trying to avoid. But it's just the wait and heal game can sometimes not work because you wait and healing and you still need the surgery, right? You just off longer than that. And like for a guy for JP France who's shown a glimpse of greatness, like shown that he can pitch in major leagues, I think being on the field is crucial if for like a long term contract or those arbitration hearings. Like, it's gonna be crucial for him to be on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, I think the inflammation part for that is like kind of tricky to diagnose because you don't know if it's just swelling. Obviously the ice method, you just have to ice it up and hoping the swelling goes down, or it could be something significant being tears in the shoulder, ligaments being, kind of torn apart, which is very crucial, especially in the shoulder, which you throw on your right shoulder. You're throwing from your right side of your body. But yeah, I think if you're the Astros, you got to have a deadline for this guy. And if surgery's a possibility, then I would say go after it and have him ready before spring training of next year.
Absolutely. But I mean, just moving on to some positive Astros news. I know that injury updates are kind of sometimes, very. I lost
It's
the
almost
word.
like I feel like the train station is most likely the damn injury update section.
Yeah, basically, right? Kind of like no energy, because like you never want to wish a injury to a player, right? And you
Mhm.
always want to see him on the field. But let's put some positive notes out there. The All-Star voting, the second round update, has been here from MLB. It was released, and three Astros lead their respective categories, such as Jose Altuve, who actually possesses the most votes by any Astro with 1,233,299. He's an eight-time All-Star. He's been to the he's an eight-time All-Star, earned the starting job five times per fan election. That was in 2015, three straight years from 15 to 18, and then in 2022. But I mean, I think he deserves a very like. I think all the votes he's getting are very well deserved. He's hitting 299 with 16 doubles, 12 home runs, 33 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, 810 OPS, and that's all in 77 games. Altuve leads all AL second basemen in hits, home runs, batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. And he ranks and he also tied for first in double. So I mean, leading first in all those categories, offensive categories, and then playing a spectacular defense, uh, going on to that as well. I mean, that's worthy of an All-Star start.
I think a lot of Ranger fans are not going to be happy about that because Marcus Simeon is second. I want to say right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I
I mean,
think
Altuve's had a great season. You
yeah,
said all the stats right there. He deserves to be in the starter.
I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I think the best like when I used to do these votings, I would like no matter what team, I would always go for the most qualified, like the one who's worthy, because I kind of don't like seeing
Exactly.
uh a player's hitting 230 with uh five home runs starting, whereas you have this other guy in the bench who's almost hitting 300
Hmm.
double digit home runs. I know the fan vote is kind of like like the prime example for me was the Royals in 2015
Oh,
20.
20. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. I
one of
remember
those
that.
years it was the whole Royal starting
All
infield.
their
And
starters, basically.
yeah, and there were some other players who were, I feel like, more worthy of that start, during that time. So it's just like I feel like it should go to the best man, and right now Jose Altuve's that's that person in second base.
Yeah, he was that guy at second base for that one too. And that
Yeah, he
all
was
that
right.
or all the Royal lineup.
Yeah, he was surrounded by them for sure. And another one leading is Jordan Alvarez is leading the DH voting. Surprisingly, he's looking for his first All Star start. He's I believe a three-time All Star, but looking for his first start. Right now, he's hitting 288 with 16 doubles, 16 home runs, 41 RBIs, and an 877 OPS in just 75 games. Alvarez leads AL qualified designated hitters in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS, which are the important ones, right? Because that's
Hmm.
basically what a designated hitter does. They just hit, and when you're leading and slugging, on base percentage, that, that's just the type of hitter you are.
I mean, it's kind of not be surprising just for the fact that Shohei Otani's been in the American League
Yeah,
so many years being that DH. I think the only one that he should have started was in 21 over I think JD Martinez had gotten it. I think Martinez was with the Red Sox at that time, and Alvarez just missed, or he just missed the All Star. I forgot how it was, but it was Martinez and Otani, and then him, and he just
yeah.
missed out.
I mean, Otani's a unicorn out there, so kind of trying to outvote him is pretty much difficult.
Yeah,
Is I forgot to look. Is Bryce Harper going as a first baseman or as a
First
DH?
baseman. He is leading first base for the National League.
Because I was like, if it wasn't because he was a DH last year, correct?
Maybe.
I think
Not
so.
100% sure.
So- But Kyle Tucker is also leading the outfield, and he's also looking for his first All Star start. Right now, Tucker's been had a lengthy absence because of his injuries. But even though that's the case, he's still ranked second in home runs, second in slugging, and fourth in OPS among American League outfielders. So just shows what kind of a hot start he was on, and unfortunately, he couldn't add to that because of this injury. But I think if he was still playing, those numbers could have been through the roof. I think right now, Aaron Judge's home run frenzy that he's on, that's just
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's just
Crazy.
unheard of. So although I think he would have been second in home runs still, and among outfielders, I think he would have been pretty close, like close to number one in all the other categories such as RBIs and slugging and OPS.
That's pretty damn impressive, though. Still second, and he's missed what, maybe like 2 weeks of baseball?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was off to a hot start, and I think we had like the 30-30 countdown too. Like a few tweets there. While he was there, but yeah, he's pretty much deserved it. And five other Astros also appeared among the top vote getters in MLB's Phase One update, which is Yanier Diaz fifth, Alex Bregman sixth, Jeremy Pena sixth, Singleton seventh, and outfielder Marcel Dubon 14th.
How is Jake Myers still not on that category, dude? I just do not understand.
All right, I'm surprised with you. I think he's playing pretty phenomenal defense, pretty above average offense as well. So it is what it is, but I think he can
Joshua
get it.
said he missed 3 weeks, so
There you go.
I didn't think it was going to be almost. It's probably going to be over a month that he's going
Yeah,
to be on the IL. That's crazy.
surprising. It didn't feel like it was that long ago, honestly.
Question before we move on to around the horn: do you think MLB needs to establish a utility role position for the All Star game?
Well, yeah, but I feel like the purpose of the fan votes is for starters, right? Like if you make the utility role, they're still going to be on the bench.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is actually true.
Yeah.
But I
I
mean,
mean, I feel like the fan voting
at
should.
least a category. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
think a
got you.
utility guy should have a category like
Yeah,
everybody else?
yeah, why not? Yeah, just one more extra person to vote for. Yeah, for it. But what I was thinking is, sometimes the fan voting can get a little bit out of hand. So I was thinking maybe the fan voting counts for like 50% of it, and then you have like baseball writers or like people who follow baseball closely vote for their all-star picks as well, and then just combine those mass.
Or even
Combine them.
players voting for other players too. I think that would
I,
be
li-
good.
I like that too. I like that too. Yeah, yeah. Like, because by all means, what I let the people vote, but it's just like sometimes this get a little out of hand.
So like Martin Maldonado, that whole thing they were doing over there in Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they stop stuff like that.
But MLB needs to do something about some of these games, man. I think you've seen different leagues doing different things, different type of events. You got football doing, different things in the Pro Bowl. You got basketball doing besides the 3-point shootout, the dunk contest, you got celebrity game. You got the rookies and the second year guys doing games on the other hand too. I think baseball needs to do something too. I don't know how to elevate these events, but I bet you anything it'd get the audience and it'd get a lot of people engaged in more of baseball.
Yeah, and I think something that made the All-Star game really competitive is that home field advantage. I think they should bring that back.
You
Like
think so?
where, yeah, I've always liked that because honestly, typically people who make the All-Star teams are on winning ball clubs, right? So
Mhm.
uh, it kind of gives you something to play for because say like I know it's a marathon of a season, but if your team makes it to World Series, that home run you hit in the All-Star game could have been the difference of you getting home field advantage or you not. So I think that kind of, I mean, I like that, but like I don't know what your input on that is.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad idea. Obviously now the home run derby doesn't do the 10 outs like it used to be, like all that stuff. It kind of changes a little bit, but I would say maybe bring in another event. I don't
Hmm.
know how you would elevate the audience, the viewership, I guess you could say too, on TV through the All Star break. I mean, you do got the futures game, but I mean, what other kind of like long toss? But then again,
Could be.
players could throw their arms out. You got pop
Yeah.
times too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a bunt contest. I mean, you don't bunt a lot in baseball, but maybe I don't know. Just trying to get some type of events to get this game more engaged. I guess you could say for the fans.
The only thing I can think of is like you get 10 swings to rack up as many points. And like, for example, if you hit it up the middle to the outfield, it's like 500 points. If you pull it, 400 points. Take it the other way, 800 points. Like, just like a little dart system on the infield.
That game reminds you never played a game growing up playing I think it was MLB. What was it called? It's an EA Sports game. It wasn't the show. I think it's MLB MVP. I don't know. It had Manny Ramirez. It had Albert Pujols on the cover.
MVP.
Was
MVP
it
also.
called? Okay. Okay. So one of them events, one of them games you could play on one of the parts of it is basically what you just said. You can hit it up the middle. You just rack up as many points as you can. I think that'd be pretty cool. Honestly,
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool.
And then like if you hit a ground ball, it's like more like line drive. You hit a ground ball, you lose points, or you get like 10 points, something like that.
I mean, the ground balls though too. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting it through the hole. You can hit it through first and second, or short and third.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Probably want to put it out. Yeah. I mean, that could be something.
We're basically giving out tips how to elevate this game, baby. We're just trying to get the All Star game a little bit more enthusiastic, I guess you could say.
Might have to call MLB for some jobs out there for him.
On the
But
hotline bling already.
around the horn, let's start with the powerful words that Reggie Jackson said during that Rickwood game. And, you know, the whole point of the Rickwood game was to honor the Negro Leagues and honor Willie Mays. That's what the Giants were playing. And obviously, Willie Mays passed away, so he was a part of it. And it's just kind of like, just a little nip of history, right? Just kind of like a little bit of what players, playing that field, what it meant to them. And for Reggie Jackson, he said it was kind of difficult for him to be back at Rickwood just because of everything he experienced there, the amount of racism he had to go through. Um, he had to go through being called insulting words, and you know, and a big factor is like him having to rely on his teammates to kind of get him through it. And he said he has some great teammates that when and a great manager where if he couldn't eat at a restaurant, they would go somewhere else and eat where he was allowed to. They couldn't if he couldn't stay at a hotel, they would find a different place. I think that those words that Red Jackson said were very powerful because Red Jackson's still alive. It's not like this was a long time ago. This is still a recent part of history, and bringing it to light. Instead of just neglecting it, and pushing it away, kind of like makes you appreciate all their, what they have to go for, right? And then just to add on that, Cardinals manager Ali Marmol was asked about it, and he said he still to this day has experienced forms of racism while he's managing the Cardinals, and we're in 2024. So again, having these difficult conversations goes a long way to kind of educating people and kind of hopefully eliminating it altogether. I know many players when they go to, like, for example, Yankee Stadium or Boston or Chicago, all these different major leaguers, when they're warming up, they're getting or even Philadelphia, like, they're getting slammed with uh like with vulgar language and insults and stuff like that. Hopefully they keep it civil, right, for the most part, and they don't go across the bar. But I mean, you still hear it to this day. I think that's one of the reasons why King Griffey Jr. never wanted to play in New York, just because of other things his dad went through there. So it's just, it's kind of still active today, but it's always great to bring awareness to stuff like this because it shouldn't be around baseball.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson is one of the wisest human beings I've ever been around. Ever been around. Talking about Jackie Robinson with him when I did that feature on Jackie Robinson Day, he even said it himself. I mean, we still haven't done enough for baseball. Minorities, meaning, African Americans, Latino people, being able to have front office jobs, just dealing with different parts of the organization. He says there's still, not enough. It's still not enough. Have we preserved Jackie Robinson's name after he's been gone, after he's passed away? And he gave me a powerful message. He gave me his thoughts on how everything has been. And like I said, that's one of the wisest human beings I've ever been around. You can't take for granted to be around those type of guys, because they went, like you were saying, they went through that time, and they have a lot of stories to talk about. And I think that's really important for history, like you were saying, not just for Major League Baseball history or baseball history itself, but history as in a whole of in the United States of America. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
that was pretty much it. Just what Oli Marmot said too, with racism still being present, it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in, man. We can't really, you can't really tell a person what to say or how to say. It's just being able to kind of see the pros and cons and seeing what kind of difference you can make in this world.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely for sure. I mean, hopefully, slowly, but I mean, surely it gets eliminated from the game. I think racism in baseball should nowhere be in the mix, right? I think you know, especially like if you look at the crowd of baseball, there's a bunch of young kids who attend these games, and you always want to lead them by the right example, not by the negative one. Like the way, like it starts with leading by example, the way to get rid of things like that, and just making the right choices and stuff like that can kind of take go a long way with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and real quick too, Major League
right.
Baseball. I mean, bringing Rickwood Field, bringing that game over there to Birmingham, Alabama.
It's
What have
great.
they done for the Negro Leagues, putting their stats on as well? I mean, I think it's changing. It's going in the right direction. It just needs to continue consistently going into that direction of showing equal balance, I guess you could say.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it 100%. And then lastly, before we let y'all go, I don't know if you saw another case in New York. Edwin Diaz was ejected out the game for sticky substance. Uh, it was a clear picture when he came out for the ninth inning, and I'm sure he knows it that he always gets checked. He's been coming out for the ninth inning for so long with these new rules in place. He always gets checked, and um, it's just I don't know if you saw the picture. It was like little, you know,
Little
little,
spots.
yeah, little spots sticking out. Uh, it was kind of obvious he had something in his hand. Again, he said it was sweat and pine tar, which what most players are saying. Didn't get the option to wash it down or anything. Was ejected out of the game, and just now MLB announced that he is suspended 10 games for uh, having foreign substance in his hand. I'm not sure if he's gonna appeal it yet, but that's like what a number of athletes already. I know Ronel Blanco, Max Scherzer.
So the funny thing is, there have been 6 game suspensions for pitchers with sticky substance, foreign substance, all that stuff.
Mhm.
3 of them have pitched for the New York Mets. 3 of them.
Scherzer, Diaz.
Scherzer, Diaz, and there's another one, but I don't have it on the top of my head. But they did
And
mention something like that, being 6 players in Major League Baseball with this 10 game suspension of the substance, foreign substance abuse, and all that stuff. 3 of them had came from the Mets.
yeah, it's it's crazy.
Was it? Which is it? Pine tar? I thought you couldn't have pine tar.
Sorry, not pine tar. Rosin,
Rosin, right?
rosin
Okay.
and sweat. Yeah, it's my bad.
Okay. I was just double checking on that part.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was rosin and sweat is what he said.
Joshua said there's 8 ejections for foreign substances. And then he said the other 2 Mets are Scherzer and Smith. I don't know what Smith on the
I
top of
don't know
my
what
head.
Smith, but we'll go with it.
We appreciate it. We really appreciate the help on that part. But that is the end of our show, episode 190 in the books. Of course, A&M is playing for a championship today, so we'll have to see
Keep
if
going.
A&M wins the College World Series or the Tennessee Volunteers win the College World Series. I think it's going to be a great Game 3 matchup between 2 powerhouse college baseball teams in the world. So make sure you tune into that. But continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok. If you're not on YouTube right now, make sure you go on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and hit that like button for us as we are continuing boosting our numbers up at our YouTube channel, as well as our podcast platforms from Spotify to Apple. Make sure you tune in, make sure you download the latest one. And of course, give us a like and comments and the ratings on that part. But Andrew, you got anything before we sign off?
No, just thank you for listening. Pretty good product once again, and just thank you for staying tuned with us. Thank you for hearing us this entire hour. And thank you for taking the time of the day to hear us out, and we appreciate all of you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Tell your friends about us. We can expand those numbers.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be working in the books, maybe doing another live show at the White Rhino like we usually do before the All Star break. We'll make sure to probably do another giveaway before we head into the All Star break as well. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you look at all the rules, how to enter the giveaway. But that is the end of our show. Like I said, y'all be safe. We'll have that recap of the Rocky series and then get y'all ready for that Mets preview as the Astros will be going to New York. But until then, y'all stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll talk to y'all then.
Peace.